Hello my geeky guys and gals, welcome to this video for you. Should be very quick, I'll keep it as quick as possible for you. The intention of this is to get your copy of Command & Conquer Generals and the Zero Hour game installed and running in your machine. If you've got a 32-bit system or a 64-bit system with less than 4GB of memory, it should be fine. But if you've got a 64-bit system with more than 4GB like I do, you might run into problems, and then that's what this video is for. So first let's start, let's put a CD in. CD's in, now it's loading. Come on, there we go. So once the autoplay is up and running, you want to open the folder. If you don't have autoplay running, what you do is you go to My Computer, find your CD drive, right click on that and click on Open. Once there, you want to locate the setup.exe file. Now on my system, setup run OK, so try it first, just run it. If it all installs fine, brilliant. If it doesn't, follow this step. Right click it, click Properties and click Compatibility. Change it to any Windows XP system, the service pack doesn't matter, and click Administrator. Run it as Administrator and then click OK. Since I've already got the game installed, I don't actually really need to do that. Let me just change that back. Once it's installed, what you next need to do is, don't run the game yet, let's go to the game files. If you do have a 64-bit system, everything's going to be located under here, Program Files x86. So you go in there and it's under EA Games. Now if you like me and you've got either the First Decade Edition or the Ultimate Edition, you'll just have the one folder here. If you've got the original games when they were first released back in 2003, you'll have two folders here. Whichever version you've got, naming convention wise it'll all be the same. You will eventually see two folders, Command & Conquer Generals and Command & Conquer Generals Zero Hour. Now all the changes that we do for Zero Hour will work for Generals, so we'll start with Zero Hour first. Find the generals.exe file, right click on that and click Properties. Change its compatibility to run with Windows XP, again service pack independent, it doesn't matter, and run it as administrator. What I've done to disable these options is I put it in here, change settings for all users. That way it doesn't accidentally turn off these options. Do that for both generals files of both games. So generals.exe, right click, Properties, Compatibility, XP and Administrator. Once you've changed those two, that's it for the games there, but we're not done yet. If you've got the First Decade Edition or the Ultimate Edition, you'll have a launcher for it, so you need to find the launcher folder. Mine is TFD launcher because I've got the First Decade Edition. I don't know what yours will be if you've got the Ultimate Edition. You need to find what the launcher is for that and change it that way. But what you do is TFD launcher, right click and Properties. Change that compatibility again to Windows XP and an administrator, because for some daft reason if you don't, the game still won't run. So we're done with all that. Next what we need to do is go into your My Documents folder. If you don't have the shortcut on the desktop, you go to your C drive, click on the Users folder and then click on the name of whichever your username is and then My Documents that way. Ultimately you should come to something similar to this. Find your Zero Hour folder here and locate your options.ini file. Now it should open in Notepad, but if it doesn't, you click File and Open once you've got a Notepad open. Change text documents to all files, navigate to your Zero Hour folder and you should see it there. Now enter all the text in as you see on here. Don't worry if you can't see it properly in the video, because I'm going to put all this text in the description as well, so you can copy it from the description into your options.ini folder. Make sure it's all the same here. And a handy little tip here as well is you can also change the resolution to whatever you prefer to match your monitor, because by default Generals does not support widescreen, and it doesn't support high definition resolutions either. So you can change that. Make sure the two numbers has just nothing more than a space in between. Don't put something like X like that or anything, because you won't recognize it. It must be a space. So you can change the resolution there manually and it will run. I don't need to do it because I've already changed it. You do that for both options files, for Generals and 0 Hour. So look, everything's still the same in here as well. Now the reason why it works is that any options that the original Generals doesn't understand, it will just skip and run the options that it does, so it will work that way. So with that, once all that's done, will it work? I'll show you very quickly the easiest way through the First Decade edition, because once you can quit out, you can jump straight into the other game without having to navigate the folders again. So I'll just quickly boot that up for you. First we'll do 0 Hour because that's what we changed. That's a good sign. If you get to this point you should be fine, but let's just make double sure. And here we go at the opening menu. Now the menu does use the same engine and rendering as the actual game itself, so if you get to this point you'll be fine. If you see any stuttering in the video playback, there might be some problems with the resolution, so you need to probably might change around with that, or maybe even just change some of the options in here. If you do change the options in here and click accept, it will change the resolution back to whatever's selected on here. So you need to make sure that you change the options back to the way that you wanted it before. So that's that one. What about Generals? Let's try Generals. And will you look at that? We've got EA logo coming up. Opening intro video. And there we are, back the main menu. So yeah, if you can get to this menu in both Generals and 0 Hour, you're fine. If you've got any problems, if there's anything that's not running right, comment or send me an email. Let me know exactly what your problem is and what your system specifications are. What I'm really interested in is whether your Windows is 32-bit or 64-bit, and whether or not you've got 4 GB of memory or more. What I'll do is I'll try my best to find out what the resolution is and get back to you. A very quick point to mention as well is, if you've got the First Decade or the Ultimate Edition, that change that I've done for you should work. If you've got the original games, you might need to download updates first. You need to make sure that the original Generals is updated to version 1.8 or higher, and 0 Hour updated to version 1.04. If that's all updated, again, you should be fine with that. If not, update your game first after installation, then change all your settings like I'm showing you. Well, with that in mind, my geeky guys and gals, happy blasting away on the game. Bye bye for now.